What if I told you that one of the greatest 2D Mario games ever made isn't even called Mario, and that it wasn't on consoles at all?
All right, son, point out the animal that did this to you.
The beast is back, now with 100 levels of pain. Donkey Kong, new for Game Boy.
Ah, the Game Boy. That chunky gray brick that turned car rides into epic adventures. In a time before smartphones and HD remakes, this humble handheld gave us moments of magic, and perhaps one of the greatest curveballs Nintendo ever threw. Today, we're talking about Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. And no, not the original arcade game with the ladders and barrels, though it does start that way. I'm talking about the 1994 reimagining that starts with the classic, but quickly evolves into something so much bigger. A puzzle platforming masterpiece, hidden in plain sight. So grab your hard hat, jump into your overalls, and let's rewind to a game that took 1981's most iconic platformer and turned it into a 100-level brain-bending quest. This is Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. When most people think Donkey Kong, they picture Mario, back when he was still Jumpman, climbing up scaffolding to rescue Pauline from a very grumpy gorilla. Simple, brutal, classic. Now, imagine starting that exact scenario on your Game Boy. Same layout, same music, same 25-meter challenge. It's nostalgic, it's familiar, Wait, why is there a cutscene? Yeah, after you beat the supposed final level of the original arcade classic, something incredible happens. Donkey Kong gets back up, grabs Pauline again, and runs. Suddenly the game keeps going. Level 5, level 6, level 7. That's when you realize this isn't just a port, it's a full-on expansion. The 1994 Donkey Kong is a Trojan horse of a game. It lures you in with nostalgia and then drops nearly a 100 puzzle platforming adventure in your lap. Each level is cleverly designed and completely new. It's honestly mind-blowing how this game keeps throwing new mechanics at you. Just when you think you've seen it all, it evolves again. It never stops from start to finish. Even by level 80, you're still introduced to new gameplay ideas or clever twists on mechanics you saw earlier in the game. Everything you learned in the beginning slowly stacks up, building toward more complex and rewarding challenges. The game masterfully ties everything together. It takes all the tools and tricks it's given you since the beginning and strings them through levels after level after level of increasingly clever design, and then just when you think it's about to slow down, it speeds back up. Once the game leaves its arcade roots, it transforms into something amazing. Each level becomes a mini puzzle. Enter the stage, find the key, bring it to the locked door, and move on to the next challenge. But it never gets stale, because the mechanics keep evolving, and there's even a set of 3 special items to collect in each level on top of the main objective. Mario picks up all kinds of new moves too, things you'd never seen in the original arcade version. Handstands, backflips, somersaults. It's like he's been training at a gymnastics camp between Mushroom Kingdom gigs. This is 2D Mario, but he's moving with the fluidity and flair of Mario 64, and he's doing it years before Nintendo 64 was even a thing. The pacing is genuinely brilliant. The game introduces new elements like springs, switches, disappearing platforms, and even enemies you can ride. Each world contains multiple stages, capped off with boss battles or clever minigames that put you head-to-head with DK himself. It's as if the developers crammed every ounce of charm, creativity, and polish they could muster into that little gray Game Boy cartridge, and filled it to the brim. Nintendo had no business putting out a game this tight and innovative on a handheld in the early 90s, but they did. And honestly, this might just be the best platforming experience on the entire original Game Boy library. It's a neatly wrapped package that oozes charm, clever design, and good clean fun. Let's talk presentation. Graphically, Donkey Kong 94 is clean, crisp, and expressive. The sprites are large, the animations are smooth, and Mario's little victory poses when he solves a level, chef's kiss. Even on the tiny monochrome screen, the game oozes personality and charisma. Donkey Kong's wild expressions and Pauline's increasingly dramatic cries for help add charm to what could have easily been another pared-down Game Boy port. And that soundtrack, composed by Taisuke Araki, it ranges from bouncy puzzle music to intense boss battle themes, all with that classic Nintendo whimsy. The developers use the Game Boy's limitations as strengths. The minimalistic visuals never get cluttered, and every tile has a clear purpose. Whether it's the clink of a key being picked up or the sound of Mario flipping through the air, every bit of audio is distinct and satisfying. And let's not forget, this game was super Game Boy compatible. Plug it into the SNES and boom, you get custom borders, color palettes, and sound enhancements. It's like the game came packaged with its own remaster at launch. So who pulled off this wizardry? Well, this 1994 Game Boy version of Donkey Kong was developed through a joint effort between Nintendo EAD and Pax Softnica. Nintendo EAD was responsible for nearly every mainline Mario and Zelda game up until that point, on both the NES and SNES, while Pax Softnica would later go on to create the Hamtaro series for Nintendo on both the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So yeah, the game had an amazing pedigree from the start. Donkey Kong 94 was meant to be a showcase for the Game Boy's potential. It wasn't just a remake, it was a reinvention and an expansion to the point of being a brand new game. And in many ways, it helped lay the groundwork for Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the GBA years later. Fun fact, this was the first game where Pauline had a speaking voice. Yep, that digitized help that you hear on the Super Game Boy version, that's her. It also marks one of Mario's earliest appearances with his now iconic acrobatic flips, well before Super Mario 64 showed off its own backflips and triple jumps. Despite being brilliant, Donkey Kong for the Game Boy often gets overshadowed by the arcade predecessor and flashier SNES contemporaries. But those who played it, they remember. It laid the foundation for what would become an entire sub-series puzzle platforming Mario games. Without this game, you don't get Mario vs. Donkey Kong. You don't get March of the Minis. You definitely don't get Mario doing mid-air pirouettes like a gymnastics champion. This was a game that respected the player. It assumed you were smart, curious, and capable of solving complex puzzles, with only a D-pad and 2 buttons. There was no tutorials, no hand-holding, just level after level of increasingly clever design. It's the kind of game you could beat in a weekend, and then come back to years later only to appreciate just how tightly it was put together still. Donkey Kong 94 is one of those rare retro games that still holds up today, and I mean really holds up. It's not just nostalgia talking. The design is super tight, the controls are sharp, the challenge scales in a way modern puzzle games could only dream of. And yeah, it's short. You can beat the whole thing in about 3 to 5 hours depending on your puzzle solving skills, but every one of those hours feels dense, meaningful, and crafted with care. Whether you're a Mario fan, a puzzle junkie, or just someone looking for a good time on Nintendo's OG handheld, Donkey Kong 94 deserves your attention. It may not throw barrels quite like it used to, but what it delivers instead is simply amazing. So yeah, that's Donkey Kong 94 for the original Game Boy, a game that surprised everyone by being more than what it appeared on the surface. Did you play it back in the day? Or maybe you're just now discovering it because of the recent addition to the Switch Online. Please share your memories in the comments below, and hey, if you liked the video and want more content like this, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. And now we've come to the point of the video where I say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.